Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats from the grade 12 book Flamingo. So this is for your exam. So I'm going to give you a detailed explanation. I'll give you some bits of it in Hindi so that you are able to understand better. But it's important for everyone who listens to English to understand the meanings of words simply because you are going to write your exam in English. So let's begin right away. So all of us know what beauty is, right? I put some pictures there for you to see, and you can see that there are flowers and children and birds and nature, and all of it is very beautiful. So let's look at this poem. Let's see why he wrote this poem, A Thing of Beauty. Okay, John Keats. So, oops. Sorry, yeah. So the first thing we are going to do is to look at the poet, look at the philosophy. Poets are philosophers. Poets are people who have wise thoughts. तत्वज्ञानी है और उनके जो विचार है वो बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है. So let us also look at the background myth. ये जो पोएम है इसके पीछे एक कहानी है. ये जो कहानी है ये भी हमें समझना चाहिए. So, okay, the poet people is John Keats, 1795 to 1821. So that is the period in which he was born, and when he died, he was a young boy. He was just about 25, 26 years old. So you can imagine his genius. British romantic poet, he wrote odes, and you must have read some of his odes, Ode to Autumn, Ode to the Grecian Urn. Some of these are very popular and you must have done it in your classes before. Now he uses a lot of sensual imagery. Sensual imagery मतलब जो हमारी इंद्रियां हैं जिनमें से हम महसूस करते हैं the world. We understand the world through our senses. Sight, hearing, taste, sound, touch, etc. Pastoral landscapes. The other thing you'll find in his poems is that you'll find a lot of nature, and you'll find farmers, and you'll find sheep, and you'll find plants and beautiful birds and forests and rivers and that kind of pastoral imagery. And lyrical meter. Very beautiful poems, very well rhymed. So all of this is there in John Keats. Very, very famous and very, very um, powerful poet. We are going to see why he's powerful, because you might read the poem and say, what is this? This is such a simple thing. But it's not. It's extremely intelligent, and I'll show you how. So the myth behind the poem, ये जो story है poem के पीछे, that is this. The poem is an excerpt from Endymion, an epic poem. जैसे हमारे महाभारत रामायण है, वैसे उनका एक है एंडेमियन करके एक है स्टोरी. बहुत सारे स्टोरीज, उसमें से एक स्टोरी है, एक एक्सर्प्ट है, एक अंश है उसका. It talks about love between mortal Endymion and Selene, the moon goddess. So there was mortal is people who die, ordinary people, and then moon goddess, of course, will never die because she's a goddess. Zeus gave Endymion the boon of eternal life. Now, when a mortal and a goddess falls in love, then one of them obviously has to live forever, which is the mortal. जो मरने वाला है उसको तो पूरा हमेशा के लिए जिंदगी चाहिए, क्योंकि गॉडेस जो है वो मरने वाली नहीं है. एंड देयरफॉर Zeus gives eternal life. उसको एक boon देता है that you will live eternally. हमेशा जिंदा रहोगे, but you will be in eternal sleep. So you will be immortal, but you will not be awake. You will be asleep all the time, except when the moon goddess visits you. Now, when does the moon goddess visit anybody, even us? At night. So at night, when the moon goddess comes to you, you will be able to come awake. Otherwise, you will be sleeping all the time. So now you have to wonder whether this is a boon or a curse. ठीक है? So his waking moments are going to be very brief. Just when that moon goddess is there, he is going to be awake. That's all. तो ये एक चीज है जो हमें याद रखनी है कि जो उसको जो वरदान दिया है कि तुम हमेशा जिंदा रहोगे, वो हमेशा सोया भी रहेगा except when the moon goddess visits. So this is the myth. This we must remember about in the poem because otherwise we won't be able to catch it. Keats philosophy. अभी let us look at उसका जो बड़ा philosophy है. Let us look at what he believed in. Philosophy is a truth. Okay, the word philosophy means love for truth. So philosophers क्या करते थे? वो सत्य के पीछे वो बहुत सारा उनका जो ध्यान है वो रहता था कि what is truth, सत्य क्या है. This is philosophy. So Keats believed in something. Then what did he believe in? He believed in the marriage of dualities or opposites. He believed कि two things that are opposite are always together. जैसे कि मृत्यु और जीवन. So they look like opposites but they are always coming together. ठीक है, जैसे प्रकाश और अंधेरा. This goes together. So he believed that there is a union of opposites, and this must be understood properly to appreciate this poem. Otherwise, the poem will sound like rubbish. In his poem Ode to Autumn, अभी एक poem है Ode to Autumn, in which he speaks of life and death being part of the same fruit. अब ये जो पिक्चर है आप देखिए, look at this picture. What do you see here? You see a pomegranate, a fruit, and it is bursting. Now, when does this pomegranate burst like that? The pomegranate bursts like that when it is completely ripe, isn't it? A raw fruit will never break. A raw fruit will be probably a little green in color or yellow in color, and its skin will be hard. You have to cut it with a knife. But this fruit, when it naturally breaks, it is breaking at the peak of its life. So you will find the highest peak of life and death sitting in the same frame. That's the जन्म और मरण का जो यूनियन है, that you can see in this picture, कि दोनों साथ में है. जिंदगी का सबसे बड़ा चोटी और मौत का आरंभ, beginning of life and the peak of life and the beginning of death. This is Keats' philosophy. Keats believed that life and death are always cyclical. Life and death, life and death, life and death. There's no such thing as life forever, और अच्छी बात नहीं है that you want only life forever. ठीक है? Ode to a Grecian on is also that. He speaks of vibrant dynamic life. अभी यहाँ पे if you look at this urn, what do you find? You find a lot of men running. So there is a dynamism, there is an energy in that whole picture, isn't it? It's a picture of people running, young men running. A very dynamic picture. But where is it sitting? It is sitting in a cold marble urn. It is sitting in a jar in which you keep ashes. जो अर्थी रखते हैं उस तरह के जो जग है उसमें ये पिक्चर है of people who are in full energy running. Are those people alive? No, they cannot. They are showing movement and life, but they are actually they cannot run anywhere. तो ये जो duality है, that is what Keats is famous for. This is a truth, isn't it? I mean, you can't say this picture is a lie. You can't say no, we can't do this. You can, and they are both sitting in one frame. And he basically talks about how life and death is a constant. You will always get it, and it is desirable. Life forever is not really something you want. This is what he is, trapped in cold marble, and the paradoxes always fascinated Keats. So just keep this in mind, and that poem will become not just clear, but it will become beautiful for you. Okay? In this poem, beauty and passion, the very spirit of love and life in all its excitement, vibrancy, vivacity, cannot be separated. So in this poem also, you cannot separate life with all its bursting vivacity, energy. You cannot separate it from the doom of eternal sleep. hinting at death. So when that man is sleeping eternally on Mount Latmus, what does it mean? It's like a death, isn't it? Every time you go to sleep, it's almost like a death because you really don't know who you are when you're sleeping. And when you wake up, it's like getting a new life. This is the big philosophy. So all his themes concern the intertwining of life and death, love, beauty, time, hold this truth. And so the ideology and philosophy are profound. सोचने वाली बात है this. If you understood this, then the poems will not be rambling. Now you will find in some places they say, oh, Keats himself said that he's rambling. He himself did not know what he was doing. That is possible because he's a genius. Now a genius will not really know what he's doing. But if you examine the poem through this lens, you will realize how amazing he is as a poet. Okay. If we look at his poems and filter through this ideology, his beauty and genius will overwhelm us. We'll be surprised. How can anybody think like this? That's what it will be. Okay, so let's proceed. So first thing to ask is, what is beauty? If we were to ask people, what is beauty to you? What will they say? We are likely to get a lot of subjective answers. For everybody, beauty is not the same. Some of us like Kareena Kapoor, some of us like Deepika Padukone, some of us like somebody else. So you will find different people saying different things about beauty. So beauty is not a constant that everybody thinks one person is beautiful and the other is not. So we are likely to get several subjective answers. Subjective is your own, what you like and not what everybody else likes. That is subjective. For physical beauty to intelligence to love, so many people will talk beauty is a beautiful woman, beauty is intelligence, beauty is relationships, beauty is my mother, beauty is my children, beauty is the a place which is my home. बहुत सारे answers you will get, and see I've given you a lot of pictures also to show you. Art can be beautiful, or a house can be beautiful, animals can be beautiful. What do you call beauty? It is up to you to decide what is beauty. To each, however, beauty represents. But whatever you choose, that beauty is pure. Because you are likely to enjoy it forever. Beauty represents a timeless passion. So let's say you love your child. You're not going to stop loving your child a few years later, isn't it? Or you love your mother, or you love your sister. Think of anybody that you really love and you'll realize that person, that love is forever. Even when that person is not there, even if that person is not in front of you or the person is dead and gone, that beauty of that love is constant. And not only constant, it grows more and more. Whenever you think of that person, you may want to cry. Whenever you think of that person, you feel a welling of love in your heart. All that is beauty. So he says beauty will never go away. So to each, however, beauty represents and grows with age and does not fade even when they are short-lived or they are no longer exist except in your memory. So even if something exists in your memory, it is beautiful. Something that you have lost sometimes, you think of it and you say, so beautiful. It never stops being beautiful. Hence, beauty is an immortal idea. ब्यूटी जो चीज है उसका कभी अंत नहीं होता है, उसका कभी मरण नहीं होता है, ऐसी चीज है ब्यूटी. तो ब्यूटी एक तरफ से एक सत्य हो गया. दिस इज व्हाट ही इज बेसिकली सेइंग. ब्यूटी इज ट्रूथ एंड ट्रूथ ब्यूटी. सत्य और खूबसूरती में कोई फर्क नहीं है. रियल ब्यूटी एंड रियल ट्रूथ आर द सेम. दिस इज हिज बेसिक मैसेज. नाउ लेट्स डू अ टाइटल चेक. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. We must always do a title check and see what is the title, what has he said. So if we start looking at the title, you have to start looking at words like beauty, forever, joy. And you have to keep in mind that he was talking about duality. Duality, वो जो दुगलापन है of two things coming together. ठीक है? So forever is immortality, isn't it? When you say forever, what do you mean? You mean permanent, immortal, may sound desirable, but it could be a trap. When you say forever, If you say, I want to live forever, you might think it's the best thing you can ask for, but it might be a trap. Because it might imprison, like that vase and jug that you saw, it can imprison beauty, life, love, and joy. So though you can have a laughing child on that jug, you can have a beautiful sunset on that jug, but it is trapped forever in that jug. It cannot move, it cannot set, it cannot do anything, but it can overcome time and even death. So beauty, but you will always remember it, and you will always remember it with joy, and it'll give you more and more joy. So this is the joy bit. Joy is the nectar of happiness. Everybody wants joy. It's the goal of life. What is the goal of life? To make sure that you are happy, that you are joyous. And yet, it is impermanent. Now, if you're happy today, doesn't mean you'll have to be happy tomorrow. It'll pass, it'll go away. It slips away. It resides often in memory. It resides in the memory of the person as an abstract. It's something that you remember. You remember a time of joy. And you say, हम लोग गए थे, कितना मजा आया. ये एक एहसास है. It's not real. It has gone. That time has gone. So even if you look at joy, it is not permanent, right? Again we see the union of paradoxes. बार बार आपको ये दो चीजों का जो मिलन है, जो opposites का जो मिलन है, वो आपको दिखाई देगा. So you will find union of opposites. Physical beauty fades and drains away to death. So we are talking of spiritual beauty. Now we are not talking about physical beauty. अगर बहुत खूबसूरत है एक लड़की तो फिर वो तो बूढ़ी हो जाएगी. उसका जो खूबसूरती है वो तो मिट जाएगा एट सम स्टेज, वो मर भी जाएगी एट सम स्टेज. सो फिजिकल ब्यूटी की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं हम, स्पिरिचुअल ब्यूटी की बात कर रहे हैं. स्पिरिट क्या होता है? लव स्पिरिट होता है. जो लोग वो लड़की से प्यार करते थे, उनका प्यार जो है वो कभी मरता नहीं है. सो ब्यूटी देयरफॉर इज स्पिरिचुअल ब्यूटी. जो आत्मा की जो ब्यूटी है उसके बारे में बात कर रहा है. In our own Indian philosophy, we reflect it in Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So हमारे अगर हिंदू फिलोसफी देखो या इंडियन फिलोसफी देखो तो सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम से हम जानते हैं वो, वेयर ट्रूथ, गुडनेस एंड ब्यूटी, ये तीन चीजें जो है वो हमेशा साथ में आता है. एक दूसरे से उसका मिलन है. जो सत्य है वो शिवम है, जो सत्य है वो सुंदर है. That concept is what he is talking about. He never lived during our time. I don't think he ever read Hindu philosophy or anything like that. But देखो कितना मेल जोल है between what Keats is saying and हमारे जो पुराणों में जो लिखा है उसमें कितना मेल जोल है, ये आपको सोचने वाली बात है. So goodness, beauty and truth. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Keats himself said in a poem, Ode to a Grecian Urn, he said, beauty is truth and truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. और कोई चीज है ही नहीं दुनिया में except beauty is truth and truth beauty. And when you say beauty, don't think of physical beauty, think of अंदर का जो आत्मा है उसका जो ब्यूटी है, उसका जो सौंदर्य है, उसके बारे में आप ध्यान कीजिए. So he himself said that in Ode to a Grecian. उनके और एक poem में ये बात कही गई है. The poem is thus about permanence of spiritual beauty in an ever-changing world. तो एक लाइन में क्या है? It is about the permanence of beauty in a world that is constantly changing. अभी आप moon के तरफ भी अगर आपने देख लिया तो what is the moon? Moon is constantly changing, isn't it? पहला it is a full moon and then slowly it fades and goes away and then comes back and then goes away and then comes back. It's a cycle. That's the amazement. Myth meaning. अभी चलो myth के और हम ध्यान देते हैं. Change and permanence. Again change and permanence. So ये जो beauty है, that is a constant, that is a permanent thing in the midst of change. Change के बीच में जो permanent होता है वो beauty है और वो सत्य है. सत्य हमेशा रहता है. It never goes away, it never fades. Beauty is exactly like that. Love is exactly like that. बड़ी बड़ी चीजें हैं. So in the midst of death you will get life. The myth of the moon goddess stands for changeability, like I just told you. The moon is fastidious. Now these are nice words for you to know. Fastidious मतलब not constant, हमेशा एक जैसा नहीं रहता है, उसको fastidious कहते हैं. Ever changing, waxing, waning, fickle. All these are good words to use in your answers, good vocabulary to learn, because you want to learn English, right? You just don't want to write an exam. It cannot be achieved or captured. It grows and fades. It is associated with beauty, light, and romance, but also with lunacy and madness. It is attractive and out of reach. Moon is all of these things. It changes, it's beautiful, but it's so far away, you can't reach it, you can't catch it. It is unattainable. जो कभी हाथ में नहीं आएगा, चंद्रमा. But it is aspirational. लेकिन हम सब उसकी तरफ देखते हैं और सोचते हैं काश हमें मिल जाए. So that is the duality. Unattainable and aspirational. ठीक है, वो मिल नहीं जाएगा, चल उसको छोड़ दे, अभी हम लोग देखेंगे नहीं उसके तरफ, ये हम नहीं कहते. हम फिर बार बार देखते हैं और कोशिश करते हैं कि काश हमें मिल जाए. So this is the duality जो हमें दिखता है. Sleep is associated with rest but also with death. Now if you look at sleep, you say I'm going to sleep because I want to rest. We all love to sleep. But then sleep is also, so you might say sleep is life-giving, but then sleep is also like a death. So again you find the duality, and it has dreams that are unreal. When you sleep, you dream. आपको सपने जो आपको दिखते हैं वो बिल्कुल real नहीं है, unreal है, and aspirations that are often unachievable. अब हम जो खुले आंख से भी जो सपने देखते हैं वो हमको हमेशा मिलता नहीं है ना? तो फिर इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि हम सपने जो देखते हैं वो हमारी जो ख्वाहिश है उसके बारे में हम सपने देखते हैं खुले आंखों से, लेकिन हमें वो मिलता नहीं है. क्या हम सपने देखना छोड़ दें? बिल्कुल नहीं. तो इसी तरह का जो दुगलापन है या इसी तरह का जो ऑपोजिट्स है, ये पोएम में उसका जिक्र किया गया है. आर वी asleep spiritually all our lives? तो और एक बात हमें सोचने की है कि क्या हम अंदर हमारी जो आत्मा है वो हमेशा सोई रहती है? Are we spiritually, are we asleep? Are we sleeping all the time? When you are awake, what happens? Spiritually awake, what happens? Suddenly, the world will look different to you. If you are just running after money, running after short term, let us make a house, let us do this, let us make more money, what happens? Not only do you kill joy, but you are asleep spiritually because you've forgotten that there is death waiting for you, right? You are not conquering death through love or beauty. You're not conquering death. You're running after the wrong things. So waking up to moments of great beauty. तो शायद ये सही हो कि हम दिन रात सोए हुए हैं, हमारे आत्मा जो है वो सोई हुई है और हम बीच बीच में उठते हैं. बीच बीच में हमें जब कोई अच्छी चीज दिखती है या हमें कुछ अच्छा महसूस होता है तो सडनली वी वेक अप एंड वी से वाओ एंड वी एंजॉय इट. ये भी हो सकता है कि हम हमेशा निद्रा में हैं. डू दीज मोमेंट्स मेक आवर लाइव्स वर्थ लिविंग? क्या हम बीच बीच में जब उठ के जब हम या कुदरत की जो सौंदर्यता है वो हम देखते हैं या कोई हम अपने बच्चों के जो मीठापन है उसका हम महसूस करते हैं, तो मे बी वी आर वेकिंग अप एट दैट टाइम. तो हो सकता है कि वो छोटी छोटी जो लम्हे है उसके लिए हम जीते हैं. हो सकता है ना? तो ये सोचने वाली बात है. सो चलो पोएम की तरफ बढ़े. हमने बहुत बात कर ली फिलॉसफी के बारे में और उनका जो यूनियन ऑफ ऑपोजिट्स के बारे में. सो वी आर नाउ रेडी फॉर द पोएम. नाउ विथ ऑल दिस इन आवर माइंड वी गो टू द पोएम. वी विल अंडरस्टैंड इट बेटर. तो कभी भी शॉर्टकट्स मत लो. डोंट गो स्ट्रेट टू द पोएम एंड से इसका मीनिंग क्या है, इसका मीनिंग क्या है, इसका मीनिंग क्या है. आपको मजा नहीं आएगा. आपका जो आत्मा है उसको खुशी नहीं होगी. And you will not be able to understand it or enjoy it better. That is why I'm telling you guys, this is very important. What I talked to you before, don't say, oh, why didn't she start the poem straight away? No, you won't love it. That's why I took the trouble of telling you what it was. So let's see the poem now. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? Spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and o'erdarkened ways made for our searching, yet, in spite of it all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. And such are daffodils with green world they live in and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring into us from heaven's brink. So this is a poem. Maybe you've understood some, maybe you have not understood a lot. तो हो सकता है कि आपको कुछ कुछ समझ में आए और कुछ कुछ नहीं आए, तो हम अब उसका कोशिश करेंगे देखने के लिए कि यह क्या बोल रहा है. अब ये देखिए पिक्चर, ये जो ब्रह्मांड है और इसके बाद आपका मून भी है यहाँ पे, जो छोटा और बड़ा, जो वैक्सिंग और वेनिंग इसका लगातार लगा रहता है. So okay, let's see this word clusters and connotations. अब जब भी हम कोई भी पोएम करते हैं तो उसको समझने के लिए हमको वर्ड क्लस्टर्स बनानी पड़ती है. वर्ड क्लस्टर्स यानी कि वो चीज जो वर्ड्स एक दूसरे से जो मिलते हैं या जिसका एक झुंड होता है, that we have to catch. So word clusters, there are many positive word clusters. Now if you look at if you look at the poem that I've done, all the green words are positive. All the red words are negative. Dark, nothingness, breathing, despondence, inhuman dearth, gloomy, unhealthy. All are dark words and they are hot season, doom, dead, vagara. They are negative words. And all the green are positive words. I just want you to see that. I've done it for you so that you can see it. That's a word cluster. So I've given you the positive word clusters and the positive through negation. Now, whenever he's used a negative word, what he has done before that word is he has said in spite of. In spite of का मतलब क्या है? उसके बावजूद. जब हम उसके बावजूद कहते हैं तो उसका अर्थ क्या होता है कि जो जितना भी डार्कनेस है, जितना भी नेगेटिव है, उसके बावजूद ये जो पॉजिटिव है वो उभर के आता है. That is what he's trying to say. So it's a fully positive poem. There is no negation in it because he has put in spite of it all. That is what he has said. So the negative clusters are there for you and you will find positive never pass into nothingness. See these words like never, it will never happen, in spite of it all. All of these are, they negate the negative and therefore they become positive. Then you have a lot of pastoral word clusters. जैसे मैंने कहा bower, trees, sleep, young, boon, daffodils, flowers, fruits, waterfalls, ये सब भरपूर है pastoral imagery. जो कहते हैं pastoral imagery. Image मतलब जो एक चित्र है pastoral का. Verbs are there like increase, जो verbs देखो तो bind, spouting, बहुत सारे growth का imagery है वहाँ पे, और एक जो है वो बंधन का है, bind. Adjective, sweet, old and young, shady, simple, cooling, बहुत सारे हैं. The mood is overall positive and negatives are used only to show contrast and also to tell you that in spite of that, this is what is going to win, positive. The message is of hope and beauty is its messenger. So the message is of hope. अब ये पिक्चर्स आप देखिए तो हर एक जगह में आपको आशा का जो किरण है वो नजर आएगा. See this little child, इनका एक पैर नहीं है फिर भी उसकी खुशी देखो झलक रहा है उसके चेहरे पे. And similarly a star, wish upon a star जो कहते हैं हम, हमेशा हमारी जो आकांक्षाएं हैं, जो हमारे जो ख्वाहिश है वो ऊपर की तरफ होती है कि हम आगे बढ़े. So it's all about hope. It's all about conquering difficulties and challenges. It's about even in concrete places where nothing can grow, you will find beautiful flowers suddenly springing up. And you will find in the poorest of children, you will find laughter and happiness and twinkling eyes. ये जो चीजें हैं, this is beauty. इसको कोई नहीं रोक सकता. Not poverty, not ill health, कोई भी चीज हो, you cannot stop happiness, you cannot stop beauty. This is his message, hope. Let's look at annotations, people. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Keats talks of beauty's immutability. Immutability, you cannot cut it. It is complete, it is whole. It's everlasting effect on our memory. हमेशा हमेशा के लिए है. हमारा जो मेमोरी में जो है, जो हमें याद आता है, हमारे जो यादगाश में है जो ब्यूटी, वो हमेशा के लिए है. An undying experience. That I want you to use all these words, immutable, undying, growing, increasing. ऐसे अगर आपने शब्द यूज किए तो आपको बहुत सारे मार्क्स मिलेंगे. The word pass into nothingness suggests death, and negation are negated and defeated by the power of beauty. So even if you say that it is the person has died or the beauty has died long back, you will still remember it. It can never die. It is immutable and it grows forever. So that becomes beauty resides in a bower. Abhi this is a bower. ऐसे जगह में हम सब चाहते हैं कि हम अच्छे से सो जाए. ऐसे जगह में जिधर जैसे हम वेकेशंस में जाते हैं, when we go on holidays, we look for places where there is a lot of nature, flowers, bird song, and that's what we want. That's a bower. A bower with lots of flowers around us. Shelter of flowers is a bower. Quiet, without stress and strife, restful sleep. We want health, isn't it? Health is very important. If you have a lot of money and you don't have any health, what is the use? So you need health. If you have a lot of money and you can't sleep at night, again, you are not very happy. So all of these things, and peace. If you ask some people, what is it that you want the most? They will tell you, we want peace. बहुत सारी चीजें रह के अगर मन की शांति नहीं है तो it is a waste, isn't it? So therefore health is important and peace is important, and beauty is all this. जब हम beauty कहते हैं, we're not talking about beautiful woman, we are talking about all these beautiful things. Rest and peace and health and nature, and all of these is what we are talking about when we say beauty. And going back to the myth, we will remember the sleeping lover, and we'll remember the moon goddess who probably watched over him. So of a continuation of memory, even where the state of death is eternal sleep. So death and sleep, everything cannot conquer love and beauty. So this is your first passage. The second annotation, therefore on every morrow, are we reading? Are we making a band? अभी देखो ये flowers के band है. तो ये flowers, the symbol of the flowers is material. We are looking for buying beautiful things. We are looking for living in beautiful houses, buying a big car or many cars, or having a beautiful wife or a handsome husband. Everything is material. लेकिन ये जो फूल इतने खुश नजर, इतने खूबसूरत नजर आ रहे हैं, they will fade like this. ऐसे हो जाएंगे, एकदम मुरझा जाएंगे, एकदम मर जाएंगे, है ना? So all material beauty will pass. Every morrow, in the morning when we get up, are we putting one more flower on that? That binds us to the earth. Jo bandhan hai, which binds us to the earth, which means we cannot let go. Even when they are old, they cannot let go of their money. Constantly it is money, 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 material things, things, things. This is what the message is. It is binding us to the earth. Spite of, abhi spite, in spite of, uske bawajood. Now look at all this. All these negative images, despondence, inhuman dearth of human noble natures. Nature that is not noble, right? I've given you all these explanations in these parts, okay? So just look at it. Unhealth, over-darkened ways, जो पाप करते हैं, where everything is unhealthy, all those kind of things. In spite of it all, ये जो beauty है इसके बारे में हम वो आगे बढ़ रहा है. So the imagery of death is strengthened by a few lines. There is a pondering of the days every morrow. Time and death का जो image है. Each day we inch towards death. But what are we doing every day? Every day we are going towards death, and every day we are pretending like we are going to be alive forever and collecting things. So flowery band, वो जो इतने नाजुक है वो बैंड, वैसा टक फ्लावर कैसा है, वो टूट जाएगा. तो हमारे जिंदगी के जो श्रृंखले हैं वो भी ऐसे ही एकदम फूलों की तरह नाजुक है, और हम उनको पकड़ पकड़ के जिंदगी बिताते हैं. That is what he's talking about. The greed of human beings, the attachment of human beings to material things, which are exactly like flowers, fragile, beautiful but fragile, beautiful but will die. So he talks of bondage, attachment, materialism that binds us to earth, collecting worldly beauty, the flowery band binds us. Again, the paradox of weak and tenacious. So if you look at flowers, they're very weak, but they attract you and hold you. All the things in the world that are beautiful and very fragile, they are definitely going to break tomorrow. But those are the kind of things that we are most attached to. They seem to be holding us more than anything else in the world. We are not using our reason. In contrast, despite the world, in spite of all the negatives of the world, इतने सारे जो तकलीफें हैं, रेस्टलेसनेस, वॉर, क्रूअल्टी, इतने सारे ग्लूम, अनहेल्थी, डिप्रेशन, डार्कनेस, सिकनेस, पेसिमिज्म, इन सब के बावजूद ब्यूटी विल ट्रांसफॉर्म. सौंदर्य, सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, वो ऐसी चीज है that will take us and change our lives into positive. This makes the word spite, ये जो word है spite लाल में, very strong and powerful because it contrasts इतना सारा दुख लेके इन दुखों के बावजूद there is hope. That is what he's trying to say. The colon before the words in spite of, ये देखो in spite of के बाद एक ऐसे दो डॉट है, colon है, मैंने कॉमा डाला हुआ है, sorry about that. Emphasizes, तो इसके बाद जो बोल रहे हैं वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. It heralds, reiterates, fortifies, strengthens. Very good words, learn them. What does it do? It tells you again. Reiterates means और एक बार बोलना. Fortifies, strengthen करना. क्या strengthen करता है? The idea that beauty will conquer darkness. तो पहले darkness का जो चित्र है वो बताओ और बोलो कि in spite of this, ये जो beauty है, that will conquer everything in the world. तो हमारे जो डार्क स्पिरिट्स है, जो हमारे पाप है, वो धुल जाएंगे इफ भी अंतरात्मिक जो ब्यूटी है उसको अगर हमने उभरने दिया तो. Annotation 3, some shape. So what is the colon saying? Some shape of beauty moves the pole. ऐसा एक निराकार चीज, something that you cannot really, does not have a form. तो हमेशा हमारे जो पुराणों में भी है, दे टॉक अबाउट दैट, जिसका कोई आकार नहीं है, जिसका कोई नाम नहीं है, ऐसा चीज है ब्यूटी, जिसका कोई शेप नहीं है. सो इट्स अ फॉर्मलेस, शेपलेस. इफ यू लुक एट इस्लाम ऑल्सो दे टेल यू दैट यू कैनॉट, देयर इज नो पिक्चर ऑफ गॉड, बिकॉज यू कैनॉट पिक्चर गॉड. इट इज फॉर्मलेस, जिसका कोई रूप नहीं है. सो देयरफॉर दैट इज व्हाट ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. सम शेप ऑफ ब्यूटी removes, ये सब जो चीजें हमने डार्क चीजों की बात की है, it will remove it, it will obliterate, it will take out all the pall यानी कि जो whatever is bringing us down, almost like God. Different things for different people. So what is it that will move you to a state of happiness? It's different for different people. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. जो देखता है उसके नजर में है ब्यूटी. ब्यूटी जैसा कोई चीज नहीं है वेर यू कैन से एवरीबडी सेज दैट इज ब्यूटीफुल है, लेकिन वो दिखावे वाला ब्यूटी नहीं है. शारीरिक सौंदर्य की बात हम नहीं कर रहे हैं. ब्यूटी डिस्पेल्स सफरिंग, पेन, ग्लूम फ्रॉम आवर लाइव्स. A surfeit of beautiful images, a fecundity. अभी अगर ये देखो तो sun, moon, trees, sheep, daffodils, green world, cooling cover. Trees make cooling cover for the hot season. Sprinkling, इतने सारे जो मस्क, ये देखो मस्क रोज के जो ब्लूम्स है, इतने सारी ब्यूटीफुल जो इमेजरी है, बहुत सारे है ये स्टैंजा में. a lot of beautiful imagery from nature, of plants, of waterfalls, beautiful earth, etc. So much he plugs in. So you'll see his clusters, he plugs in. He plugs in a lot of beauty, he plugs in a lot of darkness. So lot of darkness के बाद he said in spite of it all, ... and then he plugs in a lot of beauty. So he's negating it. वो ऐसा हुआ कि अंधेरा, थोड़ा सा अंधेरा लिया और फिर उसको ... करके इसके बावजूद, and then you give lots of light. That's what he's done. So similarly, shady boon shows shelter, peaceful space. So you've got a lot of wonderful imagery here. The nature echoes all beauty. अब ऐसे जगह में सब लोग जाना चाहते हैं. Now this is universal beauty. Beauty of nature, there's nobody who says, no, I don't like roses. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's so bad. You don't do this. It's only for human beauty that we have these preferences. Natural beauty, everybody likes. Isn't that's why we have tourists, isn't it? So therefore, it's a perfect way to describe beauty. अगर beauty बोलना है तो कुदरत की जो beauty है, कुदरत का जो सौंदर्य है, अगर उसकी बात करें तो everybody understands it perfectly. क्योंकि सबके लिए natural beauty is the ultimate. Okay, so this is what he is basically saying in this paragraph. But in the next stanza, he shifts. He switches from the beauty of nature to the beauty in humans. So are we saying human beings are not beautiful at all? ठीक है, शारीरिक सौंदर्य आप बोल रहे हैं कि अलग अलग लोगों को अलग अलग उनकी दृष्टिकोण है, तो क्या आप बोल रहे हैं कि इंसान में कोई भी ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो ब्यूटीफुल है? तो वो बोल रहा है ना. So he switches over to beauty in humans. What is the beauty in humans? Grandeur, mighty, dead, as in soldiers, courage, sacrifice. So ये जो है, if you look at that, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we might have imagined for the mighty dead. अभी mighty dead कौन है? हमारे जो शहीद हुए हैं उनको हम mighty dead बोलते हैं, जो मर चुके हैं लेकिन शहीद है जो अमर है. So you look at Bhagat Singh, or you look at Kalam, or you look at Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. अगर वो जा भी चुके हैं तो भी इन आवर माइंड्स की उनका जो सौंदर्य है वो कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. Even after thousands of years we will remember these people as beautiful human beings क्योंकि they had courage, sacrifice, integrity, valor, nobility, greatness of values में जो beauty है वो अमर है. And our myths and beliefs are religious, cultural, confirmed. अभी हमारा कौन से भी अगर हमने धर्म उठाए या हमने कोई कल्चर उठाया तो it is not going to be different. What we are saying about this, ये जो हम बोल रहे हैं अभी कि ये अमर है, ये अलग अलग इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं होगा. Everybody will agree that great people show courage and sacrifice, integrity, valor. ये जो words है, जो धैर्य है, जो सैक्रिफाइस करते हैं और जिनका जो सच्चाई के लिए लड़ते हैं, those people are beautiful and those qualities are beautiful. The poet thus goes from universal natural beauty to the magnificence of human deeds and spirit that raise them to the highest greatness. So now these people have conquered death, they have conquered time, है ना? They have conquered a lot of things that you say, oh my God, you know, we are all going to fade, we are going to die. They never lose, they never go anywhere. Thousands of years they'll be remembered. जैसे कि हम अब बात करते हैं of people जो कितने कितने 5,000 साल जो मर गए, उनके बारे में हम लोग कथा सुनाते हैं. Great people. Both nature and human beings are passing. These are very important words. Passing मतलब अमर नहीं है, मरेंगे. Transient, जो जाने वाले हैं, जो हमेशा कायम नहीं रहेंगे, वो ट्रांजिएंट है. फेल्ड बाय डेथ, मौत उनको मार डालेगी. एंड केप्ट अलाइव एंड चेरिश्ड इन आवर मेमोरी फॉरएवर. बट ऐसे लोग जो हमारे जो याद में हमेशा रहेंगे कायम. By the beauty of generous contributions and deeds. उनका जो deeds था, उनके जो कार्य जो उन्होंने किया, that will make it possible for us to remember them forever. So this is what he's trying to say. So from nature he has shifted to human beauty, but not what we think about physical beauty. We're talking about spiritual beauty. So now that was the poem, guys. So it's a beautiful, solid poem. And let's look at devices and structures. So we have got alliterations. I've given this to you. It's very easy. Sa, sound, sweet, sleep, some shape. Words of beauty, plenty of words of beauty are there. Bower, band, boon, rills, fountain. So natural beauty hai. Metaphors are there. Wreathing a flowery band. That means that flowery band is basically about the kind of attachments that you have, relationship or the bondage to material things and to the earth. Bower quiet is quiet like a bower. Bower quiet bullock, fountain of immortal drink. The drink that is like a fountain. If you say like, it becomes a simile. If you don't have the word like, it is a metaphor. They are indirect comparisons. Moves away from the pall. Beauty moves away the pall. What is a pall? A pall is a cloth that you put upon dead people. So beauty comes and takes it away and actually shines light on you. So that is the metaphor again, the cloth, reference to the cloth. So anaphora is of noble nature, of when you get repetitions like that, of noble nature, of human, of beginning with of, that is anaphora. Or such the sun, such, that is anaphora. Repetition of quiet health. There are certain words that are repeated, and always when they repeat words, they mean that they are important. Allusion is when you refer to something. So when you said daffodils, you remember Wordsworth's Daffodils, the poem. So that becomes an allusion. It's called an allusion. Fountain of immortal drink is an allusion to the fountain of youth, where again you will never die, immortal. Grandeur of dooms is an allusion to doomsday. Now in the Bible they tell you that at the end of life then God will have everyone, and then they will, ye dekho maine picture diya hua hai yahan pe. So you have God and then you have all the human beings coming and they will be judged कि आपने इतने पाप किए, आपका जो गठरी है उसमें पाप है या उसमें पुण्य है, and then they will be sent to heaven and hell. ये जो इसको कहते हैं doomsday. So grandeur of dooms, what he means is that all those wonderful people will go to a heavenly place. We all believe that they will get the highest heaven. सबसे जो ऊपर का जो जन्नत है वो उनको मिलेगा क्योंकि उन्होंने ऐसे काम किए. ठीक है. Ascenditon is words in a list that are divided by commas and semicolons but not by conjunctions. So when you have a lot of things and then you don't write and anywhere and you just divide it with commas, it's called ascenditon. So all those pastoral imagery, just take a look. Antithesis is like trees old and young, when you have two opposites sitting in the same line. Oxymoron is mighty dead. Now dead cannot, how can dead be mighty? Mighty is mighty and dead is completely no energy. So they are sitting together. Also grandeur of dooms. Dooms literally means like last day or last death kind of thing. And then grandeur is again full of life. So oxymorons, you'll have an adjective that is describing the opposite noun. Inversion, are we wreathing? What he means to say is we are wreathing. We are putting together flowers. But the inversion says, are we wreathing, is almost like a question. Rhyme scheme is AABBCC, rhyming couplets, completely beautifully rhyming couplets. Meter rhyming couplets are in the iambic pentameter. Iamb is 5. So you have 5 beats. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Panch, 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 panch. Iambic pentameter. Enjambment is where the line doesn't end in a full stop but passes into the next line. So the whole poem has got a lot of enjambment. इसमें क्या होता है? There is a flow of thought, which is really a nice way of making the person read, easy to read also. So enjambment is there. So these are some of your devices and structures, and it might be useful for your exams. Themes and links are very important. The values in this poem is, what does it teach you? That is what they are asking. Life is brief and transient. जिंदगी छोटी है और जिंदगी अमर नहीं है. So live fully. तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए? जैसे हमने उन लोगों को देखा, जैसे भगत सिंह और कलाम जी जो है, ऐसे लोगों की तरह हमें पूरी तरह से जिंदगी जीनी चाहिए और जितना हो सके जिंदगी के लिए हमें दान देना चाहिए. दान मतलब हमारे जो काम है ऐसे होने चाहिए कि हम अमर रहे. Paradoxes of life and death are intertwined. Life and death is a paradox. In life there is death, and in death there is life. You take our seasons, isn't it cyclical? So you can't say, oh, it's winter, everything is dead, now we'll all die. After that winter, you will find small little sprouts coming up here and there, small little buds, and then you will slowly get spring. So that is what, it's together, comes together, life and death. Love and beauty conquer time and death. We saw that again and again. Immortal beauty is truth. Beauty that lives forever in our minds is truth. Beauty is subjective, varied. Beauty, you can have beauty, a different idea of beauty. I can have a different idea of beauty, and brings joy, shelter. But that beauty which we have always gives us joy and it gives us shelter. Beauty is subjective, that I said. Respect nature, emulate great people. This is what is coming through also. How can we apply this learning to our life? Now, nature heals and nature teaches life lessons. So nature is a very big force. It teaches us a lot. If you just go through life like that with your eyes closed, you won't see anything. You will not be able to look at the trees and say, "Arey, winter, all the trees have shed all their leaves. Everything is looking dead. But hey, look at that. There are small, beautiful new life coming." So nature will teach us many things if we keep our eyes open. This is what it shows us, this poem. Tolerance and acceptance of a variety in life. There are lots of types of people in life. There are lots of places that are different. Everybody doesn't look the same. Everybody doesn't speak the same. But we should learn how to not just tolerate, but to accept them as a richness of life. Life is rich. Life, it's different beauty for different people. But they are all beauty and they are all one truth. That is what he's trying to say. Racism, cultural dominance. Abhi, what is wrong in our world? We've got a lot of racism, isn't it? Color, caste, creed, cultural dominance. White people are better than black people. That kind of cultural dominance. Fat shaming. Fat people are, to be laughed at. Contempt for poor. Poor people are treated badly. Chasing after perishable materialism. All the time we are running after things that we are never going to take anywhere with us. Should be shunned and our relationships must be cherished. हमें कौन सी चीज के ऊपर ध्यान देना चाहिए? हमारे जो बंधन है एक दूसरे से, जो हमारा रिश्ता है एक दूसरे से, उसके ऊपर हमें ध्यान देना चाहिए. ना कि हमें इतने सारे दौलत और शोहरत के पीछे हम अगर भागेंगे तो फिर हमारा अंत अच्छा नहीं होगा. Knowing the value of simple things. Now, if you look at all of his poetry, he's talking of very simple things, of sheep and plants and waterfalls and things like that. So, simple things are beautiful. Understanding the twin paradoxes of life and death, their union cycles to become wiser. So, we become wise, हम ज्ञानी तब बनते हैं जब हमको समझ में आता है कि ये जो जीवन और मरण है वो हमेशा एक दूसरे से बंधे हुए हैं. That they are not only running together, they come from one another. They are born from each other, life and death. Darkness and night, night and darkness every day, निरंतर जो होता है, सूर्योदय और सूर्यास्त, ये जो है, ये जो ट्रूथ है, ये हमें समझना चाहिए. और हर एक का एक अपना सौंदर्य होता है. Get out of the narrow and superficial materialistic desires. वो जो हम भाग रहे हैं पैसे की तरफ, वो हमें थोड़ा सा बंद करना चाहिए और हमें बैठ के सोचना चाहिए. We need to start thinking about our lives, about our relationships, about what is important, about what is going to last forever and what is going to die. So these are some of the things to remember. Recognize people and influences that misguide us. So yeah, along with this, we also need to start thinking about who are the people who are telling us something else, who are the people who are guiding us properly, right? So if we have got a competitive society that is running after money all the time, then we need to realize that is not a good guide. Success is not money. Success is health and peace and love and relationships. That is success. तो अगर कोई कह रहा है कि success is sitting in a bungalow and in 4 cars and great, big office, that they are misguiding you. They are sending you away from the truth. That is what he's trying to say. So I've talked a lot to you today about many things in this poem. And I think it's important that you look at this video 2-3 times, understand it nicely. You may not need all of this in your exams, but as a person being educated, it's important that you learn this from these poets. And because you have heard this today, you will be able to answer any question that comes to you because you have understood the core of the poem. आपने जो कविता का जो सारांश है, जो उसका जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जो चीजें हैं वो आपने सीखी है. इसीलिए अगर ये आए ना आए आपके एग्जाम में, आप बेहतर आंसर्स लिख पाओगे क्योंकि you have understood it thoroughly. So John Keats, dear students, amazing poet, isn't he? 25 years old, imagine. And he died at 25, which is our loss, isn't it? So thank you very much for listening and best of luck for your exams. Bye-bye.